How could I get my own voice heard better?
Yes, beautiful question. How do I find my voice? And generally speaking, this relates to confidence. When you're confident, you can express your voice. So what we need before confidence is self-esteem. The danger, most people, when we talk about confidence and self-esteem, is they feel that they can think themselves confident or to have greater self-esteem. And unfortunately, it needs action. Yes, you can think, I must be more confident, but how do you express that? In other words, we push ourselves beyond those barriers. One thing I'll share with you, and I think I might have said this before here, is like in a work scenario or with responsibility, I thought I need to get from A to B. And if I think about it too much, I will never do it because I will have some degree of fear or I can't do that. So I deliberately used to, and I mean, we have to do this with reason. I would say, right, I will do that. I will get that done by tomorrow. So I've actually put myself on the spot then that I have got to deliver by tomorrow, even though I'm worried about it, I have fears, I may not have all the knowledge that I need, but now I've made a commitment that is going to force me to that point. So I can no longer escape. I'm now applying myself, not only thinking, I have to act now. So when the combination is of thought and action, we are going to progress quicker. And then we know when we've done it, we've done it. So it lifts our self-esteem. And that in time will build spontaneous confidence. Yeah. And then you will have a voice. And that voice doesn't mean that you're the one that's shouting the loudest. It's when you open your mouth, you're authoritative because of your experience. Yeah. There are no doubts. You're not lacking confidence. You're not lacking self-esteem. When you speak, then others will hear that in a different way. They will hear that as a form of authority. She knows what she's doing, and they will sit up and listen. And you have a voice. So a voice is not having the loudest voice. It's actually having the most authoritative voice that when you speak, it touches people and they know that this person knows what they're talking about. Even if there's resistance to that or they don't agree with you, you are expressing yourself. You've got an opinion, you express that opinion, and you feel very comfortable about that. This is what I believe, etc. And you express that confidently. That's the key. Some of the hardest places to find your voice are obviously in the work situation. Yeah, when we're working with others. There might be a little bit of a jostle between authority. Someone wants to look good to the boss. Want to seem they're like teacher's pet. So you have all those complicated relationships that in a workplace you sort of have to work through. I mean, I worked in places where the culture was quite toxic. It was like encouraged people to argue against each other. And then I've worked in some areas where they had it so perfectly right. You were able to voice your opinions. They encourage that. They're the perfect places to work. And I've only worked at a few like that. I've worked, for many years as a consultant for many different companies, seen very bad cultures like, I can't wait to get out of here because it's so toxic. And they treat their staff so badly. They don't appreciate them. They're just a commodity that we can throw away, these type of really bad attitudes. But I've worked in some places where they appreciate the staff, they try and lift them up, they try and develop them. And, I as a manager or, or a director or what have you, I've always seen it that my role is to help that person grow in their role and as a person. Means that you naturally think of others. You naturally want to help others, etc. That's one thing that happens spontaneously when you meditate. You just want to, you naturally find joy in helping others. And the world could be such a better place if there was so much more of that. That we would all be helping each other rather than, competing, so to speak, or fighting or, shouting. So again, finding your voice is very important in all aspects of life. And as I said, that will come when you have greater self-esteem and you're more confident. The meditation helps you sort out who you are, what your values are, why you do things and why you don't do things. And that's all that process of learning and understanding who we are and how we tick, so to speak. And then we become more effective, more useful, not only to ourselves, but to others as well.